And guess what? She did a great job. However,
it is a however.
It is a however.
It is a however.
And those are some.
And that's what we want to talk about today. The however
things that we want to talk about. However, a famous what is his title? Therapist, sociologist, whatever. I forgot his name, man. He have a famous quote, and his quote is, "Women love their sons and raise their daughters." Right?
I said it might show up, like the viewers might be looking.
So do y'all want me to just ask the questions for a minute, get y'all warmed up, and then we all do it together?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
You don't want to be on it? You gotta get your phone a little thing, you can hold it up.
I got it.
Used to have one. What happened to it?
It broke.
You got a fan, you a manual something. But
well, this is the real camera right here. I'm just going live,
Right. Well, welcome. You got Brother El here.
Okay.
I'm Perry Earl. I'm the vice chair of the Pontiac Library.
Absolutely. So, it's a few women on here, single. Some of them are married. And first of all, this question came because I was on a panel yesterday. And I think that this panel and the organization that's doing it, man, they have a lot of potential. As far, it was a good turnout, interesting questions, and I wish it could have been on a way larger platform. And I believe that the world, especially women, and all the women in Pontiac and all over the world should have been there. I believe.
Right.
So I want to ask you guys some of these questions, and I'm quite sure some of the women here would love to, hear from a man's perspective. So let's talk about marriage, and we're live.
Yeah.
But however, please, leave it unfiltered, man. We have to get to the point to where we really don't give a damn about what nobody think. If this is really how you think, man, put it out there. There's gonna be people that's gonna agree with you.
Absolutely.
There's gonna be people that won't agree with you. The people
Right.
that won't agree, that don't agree, maybe hopefully we can come to an understanding. If not, kick rocks.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm gonna start with Brother El first. What's your view on marriage?
Well, marriage, from my experience at this point, is a business arrangement.
Absolutely.
First of all, a lot of people don't do their research on anything anymore, and they go off traditional practices, right? So you've seen some several times conducted by, whoever in your household, mothers, fathers, grandparents, and then you adopt a similar behavior. Instead of really kind of understanding certain principles on why you even dealing with a term called marriage. A marriage, by definition, is an agreement, which is a contract between two parties. Based on my experience at this point in time in my life, it's really, more focused on not just the intimate part, but more so who is the persons that you're dealing with and their family. So there's a lot more research and details that you have to study before you even calling yourself, engaging yourself into a life commitment.
Absolutely.
I think that in a 12, you might be with somebody for 12 to 15 years and not even know who that person is. That's the real problem.
And why is that?
Because you talked about it earlier. We have adopted a learned behavior in our early childhood development on what we think love is, what it means to fall in love, and it was basically surrounded by sex. Like you say, the harder you hit her, the more you love her. These are misconceptions. Love is really detailed by, supported by really what you go through. From my experience, I had to grow into love my significant other. Meaning that, how do I know I love her? Because we done been through the down times, the up times, the middle times, and within that adversity, we chose to learn each other even more, to meet each other in the middle ground, so we can be able to grow. So we had to kind of mature in a certain mental capacity to really kind of maximize our relationships. And even in the beginning, like, I was very misled based on, because like for example, I got children that was, my oldest son is privy to my relationships. And so at a point when I had a destructive mentality, I had to realize that I had a young man watching me, and everything that, how he treats his significant other, I had everything to do with. So if he don't see me exhibiting proper behavior when I'm communicating with my significant other, then that's the kind of behavior that he's gonna learn. So if he see me cussing my woman out, or calling her out her name, this is the way I communicate with her. If he see me yelling at her, this is the way I communicate with her. If he see me beating on her when she disagrees with me on different topics, this is all the things that he witnessed. Vice versa. If he see me coming in and say, how I speak to my woman in appropriate language, how I treat her, if I come in with roses, if I'm buying her jewelry, if I'm helping her out intellectual, all these qualities and principles, or the negative of it, he derives from me. And so
what are some tips that you would give your daughter, or even some of the women that's watching? Because a lot of women, we all know that most little girls, most young women, their dream is to get married.
Absolutely.
And they're frustrated because the person that they have been with 6 months, a year, 5 years, is not, proposing, not, avoiding the question, and coming up with, excuses of why they shouldn't get married. And we know, especially in our age, where we're from, where we at, we don't too much talk about marriage, right? So what are some tips, that you would give a couple or a young lady or a man when it comes to marriage? Like, break it down a little bit. Like, this is why. Why is it important? Why is marriage important? First of all, because a lot of people, if you ask them, especially men, they say, "Oh, that's just something that my girl wanted to do, and I did it to make her happy."
Right.
Really, it's just a piece of paper. We had kids. It's just a piece of paper. So first, I want to hear. Let me hear your thoughts on it. The single guy. When it comes to marriage.
Right.
Right.
How I view it.
What are there's no right or wrong answer. This is how you view
my
it.
opinion, yeah.
And we want to hear from a guy that's single, that's not married, and say, hey, what when it comes to your values, when it comes to your scale, where do marriage sit? Is it important at all?
To me, not really. Marriage is not important to me. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Probably my lifestyle, where I'm going in life, I probably should be married. Being an elected official, I don't think people trust single politicians.
No.
But I do think it's just a piece of paper.
Okay.
Now, if the right girl come along, and first off, I'm a family guy. You know what I'm saying? If I can't get along with someone's family, you know what I'm saying? I'm being in a relationship with you. I see my family every day. I talk to my family. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, they're not part of the marriage, but I want to be able to go to my spouse's family, kick it with them. You know what I'm saying? Have a conversation with them. We build something. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes, and the woman's the proper woman. She got to sweep me off my feet. She got to match me. You know what I'm saying? I need like a Rose, like not a Rose, Coretta Scott King or something. We out here in the streets with me. You know what I'm saying? In the community, I'm a community activist. I'm always doing stuff in my community. Like, we just gotta.
So okay. So let me.
It's gotta be the right one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get back to that.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Yeah.
But good point.
About really, first of all, where does these customs come from?
Absolutely.
Right. See, that's what people don't really realize. I kind of try to give the viewers a degree in the beginning, saying what is a marriage? A marriage is an agreement. It's a business arrangement between two parties.
Absolutely.
It deals with the financial stability of the family. It deals with the moral support, the spiritual. It deals with really bringing two different tribes together and merging y'all uniqueness to create what you said earlier, a dynasty.
It's about a dynasty, yeah.
So we don't really know the breeding process of our ancestors, first and foremost.
Right.
If you look at all other cultures, you're not allowed, the daughters and the sons are not allowed to, amalgamate with other nationalities, right? So you don't see, for example, you don't see Chaldean women, with us, a lot of us around here, but you can see our women trying to get a hold of Chaldean men.
Yeah.
In most cultures, whether you're Indian, Chaldean, Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, etc., they got certain family principles that allow you to marry within the nation, within the your race.
So it sounds like where you getting to is the question should be, why do I really want to marry this guy? Right? Why should I marry this man? Both ways.
What I'm saying is we're misguided from the beginning. We're not operating
So what should happen? Like, lay down the steps of what should happen, what a marriage should look like in the protocol. Because I sat on a panel yesterday, right? And someone asked me the question about the same question that I'm asking y'all.
Yeah.
And and I had to look at it the same way you look at it. It's an agreement.
Yeah.
First of all, and we know, some women, right?
Yeah.
Men too, but some women is more of, I love this guy. He's fulfilling my emotional cup.
Yeah.
He's there for me. He loves me.
That's a problem.
He's
That's a problem.
No, but it go both ways.
That's a problem.
No. It is, but it go both.
You gotta love yourself first.
It go both ways.
Right.
Let me tell you. It go both ways for a male or for
But
a
I'm not in
woman.
control of your happiness and your
But you're with her because she's fulfilling some type of void in your life as well. It go both ways.
Right.
So I think that we both have to sit at this table, and from a man, we have to say, look, this is what's important for me. I'm trying to build a dynasty, meaning that, yes, I want you to have my last name because I feel that you are a great representative for this purpose, whether it's a business, whether it's a purpose or a goal.
Yeah.
I don't want to just for you to be my wife because we love each other.
Because of sex.
So the marriage. So for this, I feel like the man is the visionary. Not saying that women don't have visions, but the man role, we're wired to chase down a goal. We're just wired like that.
Well, it's almost a sacred obligation that's bestowed upon the woman. To set a certain standard.
So yeah,
right?
so with the woman, it's like this. I understand you're about to go through some sacrifices. You're going to have to take care of the kids. You're going to nurture. You're going to be there behind the scenes, putting in mad work. The marriage, the piece of paper is this.
Okay.
If I violate this agreement, the agreements that you told me that I needed to fulfill as a man, you don't want me to cheat on you. You want me to protect you. You want me to provide you, and you want me to, fulfill your emotional cup. So if I breach or break this agreement, then you can take this piece of paper into court, and any type of finance, any type of gain that I have received, whether it was a business or whatever, you're entitled to half of this. So we're writing a contract saying this. This is my 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, 50-year goal. I want my kids to go to this school. I want to do this in the community.
Right,
I want this type of business.
Right.
And guess what? During this process, maybe for 5 years, we may not even go out to eat or go to the movies because I'm going to be grinding. Are you willing to come on this journey with me? And then she signed her name, and you sign your name on that paper, that is a contract saying that I am committed to this vision. Now the problem is most couples don't sit down and have these type of talks.
We gonna all have different respect because your upbringing with women in your generation was totally different than the women that's in my generation.
Explain that.
Totally different.
Explain that one.
We used to have a village, right? At one point in time. You good?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Go on.
We used to have a village at one point in time. And the village helped raise the kids, the community, because we know the story.
Right.
We ain't have fathers growing up, but we ain't have mamas in the household.
Right.
Some people was blessed with both parents in the household. But that was, and back then, we still got that now. But how we lost the village, how the village was broken up was when, these younger people started checking the village and how they was talking to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we don't got no more big papas and grandmas no more. The parents are starting to get younger, and we feel like we know everything because we got social media.
Because the culture has changed.
Yeah, everything.
So you have a culture change.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in that culture change, marriage is not attractive.
No, it's not.
Marriage is not attractive, and people that are getting married are obviously getting divorced faster than ever. Because of the culture change, the standards have changed, the morals have changed, the integrity have changed.
And this generation feel like you've been lying to them forever.
But it's okay to go on Instagram and see a 16, 17-year-old girl shaking her ass on there on the TikTok.
That ain't cool, man.
Right? And then it's like, then to come into a gym at, say, Pontiac Youth Rec Center, and to see our little girls coming in here with belly shirts on, tight pants, and a gym full of guys that's young men who've been misguided as well.
Yeah.
So now, it's like, what are the existing parents doing?
Yeah.
And then what is the community doing as a whole about setting policies and standards that supports the maintaining a strong integrity?
Yeah.
So what I've seen of the collectiveness from parents to grandparents to the village overall responsible for the current inappropriate social behavior being perpetuated by our children.
Absolutely.
So. And it stems from having what I call really dysfunctional households at this point.
Yeah, we are dysfunctional.
Where, like you say, when you look at the decline in marriage, you also look at the decline of every ethical principle and moral principle that we're supposed to be exhibiting as a community that we're not doing at this point.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're making excuses for why we're not doing it. Right? Whether it be bankruptcies, financial issues, whether it be lack of resources.
And that's one thing I do like about, I had both perspectives. I grew up in a Christian household. My mom was a Sunday school teacher, and I grew up in an Islamic family as well. That's one thing I like. You can't see the women. So you see what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta build a certain amount of relationship with this woman before you even see her.
No doubt.
You see what I'm saying? So you getting to know her for who she is.
So so look, we got some viewers, man. We like all women on here, and this is not even my main page. Right. This is my group page.
Right.
So it's a lot of women that's interested. So what they want to know, because they acting like they scared to ask questions.
Yeah.
What they're trying to get out of hearing this is, what do I have to do to get married or to convince my other half that marriage is important? So I'm gonna step on the other side. I'm gonna have my son grab his camera, man, so I can sit.
First off, proper communication. You gotta be.
Oh my God, that's one of the biggest things. Is
and black people
being honest.
Both sides.
Being honest. Well, being honest in that communication. We all know when we first meet somebody, we put a mask on, and that mask can remain on for too long. I think that all of us need to meet around the table and without the mask in the beginning stages here. So honestly, let truth lead and develop the relationship. What happens is, I could been through something in my childhood that could have an impact on my personal relationship.
Absolutely.
And the proper growth of that relationship that I haven't shared with you, that I haven't had the strength or haven't been taught the necessaries to deal with these traumatizing situations.
If I tell you, will you even leave? Are you ready for that?
Like, and most, I was just watching The View, and they had one of the actors come on there, and he talked about how before him and his wife was married, that he demanded counseling.
Yeah.
right? So we can get over some of the things that traumatize us that can have an impact on our personal relationship, on our financial growth, etc. Because once we engage ourselves,
So counseling should be something.
Black people scared to go sit on somebody else's couch. They go to church. They ain't go sit on nobody's couch talking about their problems.
And that's the real problem that's affecting our community from a whole perspective.
Yeah.
It's us having this defense, this what I call colorable, which means artificial. Having these colorable experiences to develop a colorable defense, which is stunning our growth as whether it's economically or personal relationships. We're talking about marriage, which is a business obligation to each other. And so once we lock in like this, we go from I to we, right? So whatever you do affects the tribe, including her and the children, if you have children. Whatever she do and decisions she makes, it has the same effect.
If somebody asks any questions, let me know too.
It has the same effect or impact.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to make sure that we have that mental stability and mental clarity. So
and it's okay if you got to step away for a minute. Like, yo, I got to step away. You know what I'm saying? People feel like you can't make mistakes, man.
Look,
Step away for a minute.
But you can eliminate a lot of mistakes simply
so
by
let's
beginning.
let's get some suggestions. So it's like this. When it comes to marriage, especially for women, only 40% of especially black women, only 40% get married.
Why?
The same type of stress that a black male have trying to find a job,
right?
Just comparing it to just say our white counterparts. It's
European counterparts.
It's like 3 to 1. So only 40% of women ever get married. So it's a shortage.
Right.
So
it's a decline over the years.
It's a decline. So most definitely, just like how we have to compete to find a job. I know it sounds strange, but most women feel like they're in a competition to try to find a successful male. So this is what
One thing is attitude too, though. Everybody.
And
everybody got to focus on their attitude because we all snap.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll most definitely get to that. So this is what I think. Life is a journey. We only get one life.
Absolutely.
So I think that most women they're the best nurturers in the world.
Yes.
So you have to realize that the man that you want to marry or want to be with is about to take you on this journey. And it's up to you to ask a million questions about this journey that he's about to take you on. You have to ask questions. Where are we going? And how long is it going to take? How we're going to get there? What are all the processes?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like with me,
Do you think it's important to know her opinion too?
Hell yeah! Look, it's like because if you don't know how she's going to feel when she go through the situation, she's going to give you all the hell in the world because y'all didn't properly talk about it.
But this sounds like
What's the question, young man?
Why is credit not important?
Credit.
Yeah.
Why is credit not important?
Credit is important.
We'll go back to that. I'm gonna have to go back and
very
read
much
that.
important.
But look,
If you
it's
got
like
bad credit, you need to think about if you don't.
Yeah. Owning your own home, building wealth for your family, your children.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
We just trying to get some pointers on because I honestly.
But no, go back to what you were saying.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. So I think that especially for a woman, marriage is very important because it's like this. I know as far as a man, or in my opinion, a real man, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work a 9 to 5, you're the protector, you're the provider, and you're the visionary. You should want to take your family from one point to a higher plane. Like with me.
Sure,
me getting out of prison, right?
Okay.
Over 5 years ago, I knew that I had a low credit score.
Yeah.
I didn't have access to money.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I knew that I was going to have to work harder than all the other men around, especially being black, a felon, no money, low credit score. So having a family and having a wife, I knew we had to have this talk like, look, for the next maybe 5 years, we may not be able to go to Disney World.
Right.
I may not be able to take you to these fancy restaurants. I may not be able to buy you the chain and diamonds and all of that. So if those things are important for you, for the next maybe 3 to 5 years, it's gonna be hard because I got a gorilla grind. I know your emotions, you know, and your feelings is important.
Right.
But however, I want to take this
The
family
necessary
to
sacrifices you
so
gotta take.
from
Right.
of
Yeah.
slavery to being free.
Yeah.
I want us to own our own house. I want to own my own business. I
Right.
want us to be able to travel. I want to put my kids through private school, and it's gonna take
Right.
hell getting there, especially
Right.
from my past and the things that I have done. So if you want to be kind of not really in the background, but if you want to be part of this journey, part of this business, part of this corporation, meaning that you want to take care of the kids, you want to do this, you want to grind and do everything that I need you to do to fulfill this purpose, then once you sign your name on this paper, you take my last name and you agree that you're going to help me, and then you tell me what I need to do to make you a better woman, and if we agree,
Right.
if either one of us breach or break this contract, that's called a divorce.
Right.
But you still
Right.
get half of, you still get, you know, your money, your proceeds, or anything that we build together. You still take your half,
Right.
and we have a peaceful separation. This is why marriage is important, because you get a lot of women that start supporting these men, you know, and they go off their feelings. I love you. He makes me smile, and then all the, you know, the emotional stuff that's important to them.
I can't lie.
Because I'm gonna tell you, for men, love is okay, right? But we'd rather have respect.
Yeah.
That love is
I
cool.
I don't have to be with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
But what
I
was
would
gonna say,
respect-
I want to piggyback off the divorce.
Go ahead.
Me personally, if I'm gonna marry a female, I need her to understand that I don't even believe in divorce. I believe in separation. Like, we can separate, but you gonna be you the only woman that's gonna have my last name. I don't believe in a divorce. Me personally.
And that's good that you believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
But if
people
I
still-
am gonna marry you.
But so, you know,
Yeah.
But let me say this.
go ahead.
Let me say
I want to
this.
go look at this question because I don't think nobody
Go
asked
ahead.
that.
Yeah.
A lot. The reason why marriages is not working nowadays is because it comes from the way marriage is presented to us come from an English custom.
Yeah.
So you got to realize I'm Moorish American. Okay, so in our nation, and according to our, you know, if you want to say religious systems or religious laws,
question, Mika.
it's all about accountability of each party.
Absolutely.
Right? I like you said earlier, not being responsible for somebody's happiness.
Yeah.
Why would we say that without qualifying our position of that?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, how we view marriage is based on foreign customs that was adopted, you know, because of slavery times. So that's why you see a lot of marriages declining, because it's not based on our ancestral principles and practices.
And that's a
so
good-
anything that's fictitious always comes to a what? To an end.
And that's
But I
a
want
good
to create
point.
my own ritual.
But-
Like, I don't
but-
want
but-
to constantly.
So let me ask a question to the
But this is
viewers.
what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
When we talk about, and one thing in more science is that accountability system of self.
Right.
Where we said earlier,
Yeah.
well, I'm not responsible for your happiness. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means that your happiness originates with you.
Yeah.
That means that you have an abundance of that already inside of you.
Yeah.
Right? And so when
I
people
can meet
get
you
this,
halfway.
when people get this misconception,
You
is
have to make yourself happy.
You
Go ahead.
ruin my life, or we're like when you argue with your significant other, some of these things start to come up. Oh, you ruined my life, or you the reason why I'm stressed out. Or whoa.
Absolutely.
So what happens is we haven't took time out to identify with self and what makes self happy. And how can you help yourself in this relationship to make the relationship
So
better?
basically, the women, you know, or the male,
It's
they
mostly
rely
the
on
men.
the other person to fulfill a void instead
Both
of them
parties do.
fulfilling their own.
Because
first.
sometimes this male, his daddy in prison,
Yeah,
right? So he
okay.
grew up without a father. So he grew up without certain principles.
Yeah.
Remember, father means
That you
process
expect
of life.
from him.
So as a father,
Yeah.
I teach my son the process of life. One of them is how to treat a woman, how to raise a family, how to take care of your business affairs, right?
So look, Mika.
So some women grew up without that same father. Okay.
Look, a viewer, she want to
Okay,
know.
okay.
She want to know why is it so hard for men to really get control of their families. You know, you see a lot of divorce,
Right.
a lot of the men that's leaving the house,
Right.
and she want to know, like, why is it so much of that going on? Like you,
Because.
like when, the way I grew up,
Because.
and everybody know I'm not telling the truth. Growing up in the Riverside, 100%, huh?
You are.
Yeah, they know that I'm telling the truth when I
Said
smack.
not.
Okay. 100% of my friends grew up in a single parent household. 100%
Right.
in the Sanford Arms.
Right.
So, and I'm gonna speak on this, and then I'm gonna let y'all have it. This is why I think it's especially for African Americans, why it's really hard on us to really keep our family and our household together. Number one, when you have a woman that's in a system to where she don't need a man, meaning the government will lower your rent, the government will give you food, shelter, and money if your man is not in the house. So now we're living in an age to where the government is your man. It's not like how it was when our grandparents was living with each other. You know, when your granddad brought home the bacon, and your grandma, she worked her ass off. She cooked, she cleaned, she bathed. You needed both of them to really work the corporation of the family.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, it's like, okay, you're talking junk, you made me mad, you can get out my house. If you don't take care of me, you know, I have the government that'll give me food,
Right.
that'll give me shelter,
Right.
that'll give me money, and will help take care of me and my kids. That's part of it. So we don't really need each other no more. And it's kind of, that's how it was designed.
Yeah.
Two, it's kind of like this. If you're dealing with a man that his daddy wasn't in his life, you have to ask yourself, you have to do your research. Who raised him? What type of man raised him? Again, growing up in the Riverside apartments, we didn't have a lot of figures that came and really showed us how to love a woman. It was the older kids in the neighborhood that gave us their perception and their experience on how to love a woman. They didn't come back to the hood, you know, at 18, 19 and said,
Absolutely.
oh man, this is how you love a woman, man. I opened the door for her, I gave her roses, I wrote a poem, and I told her that I love her. They didn't come and report that back to us. You know what they did? When we wanted to know what happened, they said, oh man, this is what happened. Look, this is what you gotta do, man. You cock her legs up, you hit her real hard, she go scream, and after that, she gonna be in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we like, oh, that's what it is. You know? And then you have other aspects. Your mother, how did your mother raise you? Was your mother an emotional person? Did she touch you a lot? Did she hug you a lot?
Right.
It's a lot of women that's not emotional people like that because their mothers never hugged them, never kissed them,
Yeah.
never said, I love you. So whether you're a male or a female, sometimes you will grow up like that.
Yeah.
When your other half, your significant other, want to hug you and touch you all the time,
Mhm.
sometimes you may get a little irritated. Why? Because your mother didn't show you the love.
Right.
So this is why counseling is important.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question, Mika. That's my
I
opinion.
can't lie though. My sisters are some of the toughest people I know. They don't show. They barely show any emotion.
Well, the reason you asking like why is it so hard for men to handle their business is because of, like you said earlier too, but they're detached. They're detached from their and, you know, slavery happened. Let's just put it out there. Slavery happened. And the focus of it was to destroy our households, to destroy the man, to destroy the woman, to create conflict between mother and child, father and mother, etc. To disrupt the unity which makes us strong.
Right.
So when you look at today, like you said, you got these other ways for it to undermine the father.
Yeah.
So I'm a father, right, and a husband. So, you know, for
Right.
example, when I enrolled my oldest son in school, the first thing somebody said to me, this when he was a little bitty boy, when he was in preschool, the first thing they said to me was, where is the mother? That question within itself is an undermining statement, right? So that was something to undermine my
They
movement.
don't ask where the daddy at.
And so what happens is, like he said earlier, you got these other ways to undermine, whether it's child support, whether it's whatever it may be, from food stamps, public assistance. The real problem is we're not manning our stations. We don't even know that we have a station at law, okay? When it comes to being a father is not a word you just throw around here.
Nah.
A father, like me being a father and a supporter of my household, it puts me in what they call an honorable capacity. What I learned is some of the qualities that I've been able to exhibit as a husband. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm not nowhere near perfect. I had to kind of grow into being a husband. I had to grow into being a father. I had to grow into being a businessman. So, and that was done through mistakes. So it's not like I woke up, you know, at the beginning and was conscious. No. Experience brought my consciousness and helped develop my mentality towards the subject matter. However, what I've learned is, you know, if I got 10 of my partners in a room, half of them haven't been exposed to certain principles which defines what it means to be a man or a husband or a father. So as a result, they don't have the knowledge. They can't behave a certain way. So it's a reason why you have a decline in marriages. It's a reason why you have an increase in fake, you know, in these single parent households. It's the reason why it's called social engineering. By design, they have made the men in our race or nation weak. For example, when you look at every other race on the statistic level, when you have single father households, you have more fathers stepping up, taking care of their families in other races than you do in our race or in our nation. That's a problem, and they don't have certain degrees, certain teachings in their upbringing and early childhood. Early childhood development is so important. Y'all just don't realize how important that is.
How you want to end it, Perry?
He said a lot.
Any advice to the single women out there? Let's stick to the topic with the marriage.
Patience.
That's right.
Patience, proper communication, and just because I feel like both sides, men and females, I feel like when somebody don't know something or they do something wrong, whatever, like we get so angry, like we get so upset. Instead of just building with that person, talking to that person, and figure out how they can teach that person. My whole life, people has always taught me, like, if I'm around you, I'm going to help shape you, mold you. There ain't nothing wrong with changing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't changed on you. I just upgraded my life, just like a tree. I feel like that's how your spot's supposed to be. This person coming to your life, this woman coming to your life, how can you add value to my life? I know how I can add value, but how can you add value to my life? You know what I'm saying?
Vice versa.
Yeah,
good.
vice versa. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not arrogant. I'm not trying to be arrogant. Come off arrogant or come off cocky or whatever like that. But why do we really need each other?
That's a great question.
You know what I'm saying? Why do you need me and why do I need you? You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I don't need you because you fresh.
Okay. Absolutely.
Number one.
No, absolutely. We go right there.
Go ahead.
So, again, if y'all have any questions about relationships or anything pertaining to that, please put the comments. Put it in the comments below. So, to wrap it up, if you've been living or dating someone for years, I think it's time to sit that person down at the table and say, look, what do the next 5 years look like? Where are we going? Yes, we've been dating, sex been good. We go out to eat and take these pictures and take these selfies and it look good. But however, what do the next 5 years look like? Yeah. Do you want to have kids? Do you want to stop having kids? How much money do you want to make? What type of business do you want to do? How are we going to give back to the community? It's time to ask these questions before you start investing your heart. Invest in your soul, invest in your pain, because pain will come. Is this the person that you want to, spend the rest of your life with? And if so, how do you even know if you haven't sat this person down at the table and said, look, what do the next 5-10 years look like? Let's write it all on paper. Let's have a verbal agreement. Let's write a contract. And if we both can agree on this, I will be your partner. To me, that's what a marriage is all about. Somebody that y'all both can agree on certain things and y'all are agreeing to go on this journey. keep going. Yeah, you know,
Right.
yeah.
Right. It's like, what y'all talking about getting married?
Oh, goodness.